Hi, friends. Today, we're heading to the Philippines, a land of stunning beaches, breathtaking nature, and some truly bizarre laws. You won't believe the unusual and sometimes downright strange rules they have in this island nation. For instance, wearing shorts that are too short is prohibited, driving in flip-flops is a no-go, and divorce is strictly off the table. These laws will make you laugh and scratch your head at the same time. In this video, we'll be diving into 51 crazy laws. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on new episodes about the wildest laws from around the world. And in the comments, let us know which law surprised you the most. Or maybe you have a favorite strange rule of your own? Ready to be amazed? Let's dive in.
Restrictions on kissing in public places. In some provinces, excessive displays of affection in public places, such as kissing for long periods of time, may cause local residents to resent you and may even result in fines. Divorce law. Divorce is illegal in the Philippines, except in some rare cases, such as annulment. This makes the country one of the few in the world where divorce is legally impossible. Ban on noise during siesta. Some villages still have a tradition of siesta, a mandatory rest time after lunch. During this period, usually between 12 o'clock and 14 o'clock, it is forbidden to talk loudly, play music, or carry out construction work. Limit on the number of dogs. In some areas, there is a limit to the number of dogs you can keep in one home. This is to prevent overpopulation and the spread of diseases such as rabies. Cyberbullying Act. The Philippines has a strict law against cyberbullying. If you insult someone, post false information, or create scandals on the internet, you can be prosecuted. The law particularly affects public personalities and social media users. License to own a radio. In the Philippines, a special license is required to own a radio. Although this law is rarely enforced today, it still exists in some legal documents. Ban on the use of cell phones at funerals. Some cities have instituted a rule prohibiting the use of cell phones during funeral ceremonies in order to maintain a respectful and peaceful atmosphere. Restrictions on hugging. In Bacolod, for example, there is a law that prohibits hugging in public places during certain religious holidays. This is considered a violation of local traditions and customs. The beauty law is a ban on ugly mannequins. In some areas of the Philippines, there is a law regulating the appearance of mannequins in store windows. The use of ugly or unaesthetic mannequins is prohibited so as not to spoil the overall appearance of the city. Penalties for missing an election. If you are registered to vote but do not vote without a valid excuse, you may be fined or even have your registration suspended. This is done to increase civic engagement.
Mandatory singing of the national anthem. In the Philippines, the law requires all citizens to stand up and sing the national anthem, Lupang Hinirang, if it is played in a public place, such as before a movie in a theater. Violation of this rule may result in a fine. Ban on driving in flip-flops. In some cities in the Philippines, it is illegal to drive a car or motorcycle while wearing flip-flops, slippers. This is considered dangerous because such shoes can easily slip off the pedals, increasing the risk of an accident. Mandatory use of umbrellas for school children. During the rainy season in some cities, school children are required to wear umbrellas and raincoats. If a child comes to school without them, parents may receive a warning or even a fine, as it is considered to jeopardize children's health. Dress code for motorcyclists. Motorcyclists in the Philippines are required to wear not only helmets, but also special clothing that covers the body. Violation of this rule can result in a fine or seizure of the vehicle. Fines for ugly signs. In some cities, laws require that all signs on stores and establishments be approved by the city council. Signs that look untidy or disrupt the overall style of the street may be removed and the owners fined. Compulsory tree planting. In some regions, there is a rule requiring citizens to plant trees. For example, if you buy a plot of land or build a house, you are obliged to plant a certain number of trees as compensation for cutting down trees. Ban on the use of cell phones in banks. To prevent fraud, the use of cell phones is prohibited in some banks in the Philippines. Violators may be asked to leave the building or even call the police. Control of karaoke. There are restrictions on the use of karaoke in residential areas. In many places, it is forbidden to sing karaoke after 10 p.m., as it is considered a public order offense. National dress laws. On certain official occasions, citizens are required to wear traditional clothing such as barong Tagalog for men and Filipiniana for women. This rule is particularly relevant for government officials. Mandatory participation in festivals. In small Filipino villages, residents are required to participate in annual festivals. If you miss a celebration without a valid reason, you may be fined a small fine, as participation is considered a demonstration of respect for the culture and community. Restriction on super short shorts. In conservative provinces, women are not allowed to wear shorts that are too short in public. Violation of this rule can cause social stigmatization and sometimes even result in an official warning. Ban on night swimming in the seas. In some islands in the Philippines, it is forbidden to swim at night because of the risk of attack by sea creatures such as jellyfish or sharks. Local authorities have introduced this law to protect tourists. The anti-balcony rule. If your balcony faces a busy street, it is forbidden to dry laundry on it. This is considered a violation of aesthetics and public order in cities. Quiet roosters. In some provinces, if your neighbor's rooster cocks loudly at night, you can file a complaint. The owners of the rooster will have to either relocate him or pay a fine. A fine for riding a tricycle carelessly. Tricycles, motorcycle cabs, are a popular means of transportation in the Philippines. However, owners are prohibited from carrying too many passengers or cargo that could pose a danger to other road users. Ban on the use of mangoes as weapons. Although it sounds ridiculous, some places have imposed a ban on throwing mangoes at people. The reason is simple. Ripe mangoes are quite heavy, and using them can cause harm. Coconut protection. In the Philippines, there is a strict law against plucking coconuts without the permission of the landowner. Violation of this rule is considered theft and can result in serious penalties. Prohibition on excessive feeding of pigeons. Some cities have imposed a restriction on feeding pigeons to prevent them from overbreeding and polluting the streets. Restriction on singing the national anthem in public. In the Philippines, it is strictly prohibited to improperly sing the national anthem, Lupang Hinirang. Violators face fines and sometimes even imprisonment. Anti-jeepney traffic. In Manila and other major cities, jeepneys, a popular form of public transportation, must strictly follow routes. Drivers are forbidden to stop anywhere to board passengers to avoid traffic jams. Control of public scandals. It is forbidden to pick loud quarrels in public places. This rule is especially relevant for married couples, who can receive a fine for disturbing the public peace. Ban on collecting sand and shells. On some islands, it is illegal to collect sand, shells, or coral to preserve the natural beauty of the beaches. Violators can be fined and sometimes even prosecuted for destroying the ecosystem. Ban on public gluttony. In some provinces, it is forbidden to eat too much in public, especially in large groups. This rule was created to prevent envy or embarrassment among less affluent residents. Penalty for excessive firecracker noise. It is popular to use firecrackers during celebrations, especially on New Year's Eve. But if your fireworks are too loud or their setting off disturbs your neighbors, you may be fined. Ban on loud mouthwash. In provincial areas, there is an unwritten etiquette. You cannot rinse your mouth with water loudly on the street or in public places. It is considered a sign of disrespect. Restriction on collecting toilet fees. Some local cafes or gas stations are not allowed to charge you to use the restroom, especially if you are their customer. However, if you haven't bought anything, they may require a token fee. Ban on whistling in public. In certain places, especially in strict provinces, whistling may be considered indecent, especially if it is directed at strange women. In some cases, it is considered a form of street harassment. Prohibition of marriage without a wedding dance. In the Philippines, a marriage is not considered fully official without the traditional wedding dance, where guests pin money on the newlyweds' clothes. This is, of course, more of a tradition, but some local laws support this custom. Restriction on exotic pets. Keeping unusual pets such as snakes, scorpions, or crocodiles is only allowed with a license. Otherwise, the animal may be confiscated. Cleaning up after your pets. Major cities strictly regulate cleaning up after pets. If you are caught not following this rule, a fine is assured. You can't tease midgets. In some provinces, you may not mock people of small stature or mention dwarfs. It is considered bad manners and disrespectful. Village curfews. In villages, children and teenagers are required to return home before a certain time, usually 8 p.m., to avoid the influence of night spirits or simply for their safety. Restriction on rituals to invoke rain. Some villages prohibit magical rituals or dances to summon rain without the permission of the elders. This is considered a violation of local traditions, banning the use of plastic bags in certain places. Some cities in the Philippines strictly regulate the use of plastic bags. If you are caught with a plastic bag, especially in plastic-free zones, you can get a fine. Fishing only with the permission of elders. In traditional fishing villages, you can only fish after the elders have blessed the water. This is due to the belief in spirits living in bodies of water. You cannot sell copies of the Bible without authorization. In some places, the sale of religious texts, including the Bible, is strictly regulated to avoid the distribution of counterfeit copies. Mandatory dance on Village Day. During village fiesta celebrations, many villagers are required to participate in traditional dances or processions. Failure to participate may be perceived as disrespectful. Prohibition on catching rare species of fish. Some species of fish found in Philippine waters are strictly protected. Catching such fish may result in heavy fines. Restriction on photographing bridges and military installations. Photography of bridges, military bases, and strategic installations is prohibited for national security purposes. Ban on the sale of alcohol on Election Day. The sale of alcohol is strictly prohibited on Election Day to ensure order and avoid conflicts. That's all for today, friends. The Philippines sure surprised us with its unusual laws, and I hope you found it just as fascinating as I did. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now is the perfect time. There's plenty more exciting content about the craziest rules from around the globe. And don't forget to drop a comment below telling us which of these laws shocked you the most. Or maybe you know of some other strange laws that should make it into a future video? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.